Hi all. Well, what an eventful day today's been. I'm just back from work, so I haven't had a chance to put anything together earlier. I'm just gonna do a quick video now, just to mark the occasion, really, I guess, because as most of you, if you've watched my videos, will know, when Jose was appointed as a Tottenham manager, I was very underwhelmed with that. I didn't want him as a manager for us anyway, although I have always backed him whilst he's been the manager, because I think that's the right thing to do. I think you should always back your players, always back your manager. That's not to say I wouldn't criticise him. I think you should be able to criticise him as well, as many people on my channel do, and I agree with most things people say. I was never a fan of Jose. The way he came in with the new man attitude, and we're going to be, we've got a great squad, and I'll win trophies everywhere, and he was a different person, and he's not the same sort of divisive character that he was at Man United or at Chelsea or whatever. And you kind of just thought, how long can he keep that up for? Well, not very long, as it turned out. He couldn't really keep it going up for very long before he started falling out with people and saying stuff that you didn't really want to hear him saying, and all the rest of it. And clearly there is some division in the club. My only concern about that aspect of it is, do those same players who have caused some of these problems and this divisiveness, do they get away with it? Do they come out of it unscathed? Jose Mourinho's gone, so therefore, the players that have caused you some of these problems and have not been pulling their weight and all the rest of it live to fight another day. Bear in mind, we had the same, poor performances under Pochettino towards the end of his tenure. So now we've got rid of the guy we didn't want, and, but we've still got those same players. Is Ryan Mason going to be able to do anything different with those players that Jose Mourinho's not been doing? Is he going to be able to unite them? Is he going to be able to get that, new manager bump or something like that? Quite possibly, and if he does, fair play to him. But I still think there's deeper issues that we need to resolve than just Jose going. Personally, I'd have kept it till the end of the season and then see where we are. I might be proved wrong. We might go on, win the final, win our last 6 games under Ryan Mason, and everything be rosy in the garden. I doubt it. It's not going to happen, is it? So, like I say, didn't want him in the first place, so I'm not sad to see him go, to be honest. But I am really interested in what now. What now? Because I've read a few things about people saying, Eddie Howe or this, that, and the other. And other people going, well, don't want Eddie Howe, we need to show some intent. Well, getting Jose Mourinho was supposed to be the intent, wasn't it? The guy is a serial winner. He's got medals everywhere he's been up till now. And, he was going to be the man who to turn our fortunes around and get us to the next level. Pochettino taught us how to dream. He raised that bar and got us to where we are. And, Jose was going to be the guy who was going to start delivering it for us before, it going on to bigger and better things. But clearly that's not to be. So, I'll be honest with you, I'm not as happy to see him go as I was celebrating when George Graham went, if I'm being honest, when they brought Hoddle in. But I'm not sad to see him go, not at all. I think it's a strange time to do it. But, there you go. This is Tottenham. This is the way they like to do business. And, hopefully Daniel Levy's got a bigger and better cunning plan than he's shown already. So we'll see, won't we? Time will tell, and we go on from there. But for me, happy days. Let's move on. New chapter. Let's see what happens. But there's a lot of questions still need to be asked for the future. Where do we go from here? What players are we bringing in? What players are we getting rid of? Who's going to be the new manager? Is it a project? Is it someone proven? There's an awful lot of questions about that. So I was considering doing a separate video regarding the Super League scenario. But to be honest with you, I've not got a lot to say about it. I think it's crap. I think it's an absolute nonsense. I think it's a nonsense that we're even being put into the scenario of getting in it. I think it's a joke. I mean, at this moment in time, we don't deserve to be anywhere near a European place, let alone anything else. So what makes us think that we should be in some kind of, elite Super League with, some of these other teams? It's nonsense, And the idea that we're going to be playing these clubs, week in, weeks over the course of the season, week in, week out, in some kind of, league table that replaces the Champions League or whatever. What incentive is there for us then to try to get into the top four or to push on? You might as well just not bother turning up any other week and just turn up for the European games. It's a slow, slippery slope to the breakup of all the different leagues around the world, all getting combined into one league just for all European clubs. What then? What happens to being able to go to away days and all that kind of stuff? Because not all of us can afford to travel all around the world, all around Europe, watching different games. I mean, it's hard enough in the UEFA Cup and the Champions League, let alone, going, to Spain one week and to, somewhere else another week, Italy or whatever, another week. I mean, it's just nonsense. But at the end of the day, there was a point made which I thought was really, really good on Twitter by a guy. I can't remember what his name is, but he said, if you think that this European Super League is the day that football died, then you're a fool, because actually, football died long ago with the creation of the Premier League in 1992, which basically just took all the top clubs and put them into a league which gave them so much money that they could do what they like, and created this whole situation of buying the most expensive players, paying out the most expensive money, and ending up with that top elite group of teams, that can spend the money, your Chelseas, your Man Cities, your PSGs, your Real Madrids, your Barcelonas and stuff, that has kind of led to that, taking us even that much further into this Super League business, because it's a natural progression from a Premier League. Because, when you've got teams, and no disrespect to any team in the Premier League, coming up from the lower leagues, from the Championship, there's a lot of unfashionable clubs in that don't really get it all, don't really get the publicity or whatever they deserve. So, on a big support. So, does anyone want to see Burnley versus Barcelona? With all due respect to Burnley, but they do want to see the top players playing at the top teams. But it's just a slippery slope. The Premier League started it, and it's just getting worse and worse and worse. And for me, it's just greed. I mean, where do we think the £3 billion Tottenham are going to get paid for being in this Super League is going to go? Because we don't need the training facilities, we've got that. We don't need the new stadium because we've got that. It ain't going to go on players, trust me. It's going to go into the skyrocket of Daniel Levy and Joe Lewis. That's exactly where it's going. And we won't see no benefit of it. So for me, absolute nonsense. Don't want to see it, don't want to hear about it, and we'll see what happens. Will they take off? Probably not. I suspect that UEFA, FIFA, all that will find their way of cutting into that pie and getting that money. And what it will mean is they may slim down the Champions League into certain teams. They may say that certain teams will always be in it or whatever. But they'll do something to look after these clubs to make sure they stay in the Champions League and in their leagues. They're not going to cut them out. Not a chance, because it brings too much money. Can you imagine the Champions League without Barcelona or Bayern Munich or them teams in it? It's not really sellable, is it? So there is changes afoot. I doubt this Super League will take off, but we'll see. But for me, for Tottenham to be in it, absolute nonsense. So, bit of a mixed day. But as we say at the end of the day, up the Spurs.